Her phone said good night at 11:07 p.m. By 6:12 a.m., the house was empty. I stand at the front door, my fingers still curled around the cold metal of the spare key. The sky behind me is that bruised blue before dawn when everything looks softer, quieter, almost forgiving. But the house? It's not right. Even before I step inside, I can feel it. The silence is too deep, like the air itself has stopped breathing. The doormat's crooked. The lock turns stiff, resisting me as if it doesn't recognize my hand anymore. Inside, the smell hits me first. Coffee gone bitter, perfume faint on the air, her perfume. The one she wears on nights she wants to feel beautiful, even if I'm not home to see it. I whisper her name before I realize I'm doing it. Lena? No answer. My shoes echo on the tiles. The living room lamp is on, but it's dim, flickering. The couch cushions are thrown, one on the floor. There's a wine glass by the sink, lipstick smudged red against the rim. My heart stutters. I remember her text, her soft words on my screen while I worked another long shift at the plant. Good night, baby. Don't work too hard, she sounded so calm, so normal. But now the curtain by the window flutters like it's been disturbed. A cold draft slips through a cracked pane of glass. Broken. I move closer, careful, quiet, like I'm walking through someone else's life. The bedroom door is half open. The bed's unmade, sheets tangled, her sweater on the floor. Her phone charger still plugged in, but no phone. Closet door gaping, half her clothes missing. Something clutches at my throat. I reach for the photo frame on the nightstand, the one from our honeymoon in Lisbon. Her smile in that picture is the kind that makes you forget every bad thing. The frame's cracked just slightly, like it's been dropped. My mind runs wild. Did someone break in? Did she run? Did she take something? I call her name again, louder this time. Still nothing. The house feels like a stage after the actors have fled. I check the hallway. Our wedding album lies open on the floor, pages torn where her hand must have grabbed it. My chest tightens as I see the faint imprint of her fingers in dust, leading toward the back door. It's unlocked. Outside, the street is still half asleep. A neighbor's porch light flickers. My car sits exactly where I left it, the world still pretending it's normal. But I'm not. Not anymore. I sink onto the step, thumb trembling as I call her number. It rings once, twice, then goes straight to voicemail. I almost don't recognize my own voice when I whisper, "Lena, it's me. I came home early. Where are you?" When I go back inside, I notice something I missed before. On the table, a small silver key. Not ours, not to anything I know. Attached to it, a folded note, edges creased, my name written in her handwriting. My pulse pounds in my ears as I unfold it. If you love me, don't look for me, I just stare. The room sways. The clock ticks too loudly. The hum of the refrigerator feels distant. My wife, the woman I've spent 6 years building a life with, is gone, and she's asking me not to find her. I sink into the chair where she usually reads before bed. The faint scent of her shampoo lingers on the pillow she left behind. My hands are shaking, but something inside me hardens the way steel cools under pressure. I can't not look. I need to know why. By noon, I'm combing through every drawer, every folder, every secret she might have kept. That's when I find it. A rental contract tucked between old bills. A lease for an apartment I've never heard of, dated 6 months ago. Paid in cash. Signed in her name, an address scrawled at the bottom. Riverside Apartments, Unit 4C. I stare at it until the letters blur. That's where I'm going. Whatever waits for me there, I need to see it. Because love doesn't disappear overnight. It hides. And I'm about to find out what it's been hiding from me. The city looks different when you're chasing a ghost. Riverside Apartments stands at the edge of the river. Old brick, ivy crawling up the sides, paint peeling from the balconies. It's the kind of place no one would expect her to be. Lena loved sunlight, high ceilings, color. This building feels like it swallows all three. I park across the street and just watch. The windows are dark, shades drawn tight. A couple of pigeons huddle on the ledge above the entrance, wings twitching in the cold breeze. My breath fogs against the windshield. Every second feels longer than the one before. She's been here. I can feel it in my bones. I grab the silver key she left behind and cross the street. The closer I get, the quieter everything becomes. The city hum fades, replaced by the soft murmur of the river and the rustle of dead leaves. I pass the mailboxes in the lobby, each labeled in fading ink. 4C, her name isn't there, just a blank slot. The elevator groans as I ride it up. My reflection in the metal doors looks hollow. Eyes bloodshot, face unshaven. The kind of man who's lost something he can't admit to anyone. When the doors slide open, the hallway stretches before me, dimly lit, lined with muted green wallpaper peeling at the edges. Her door is at the end. 4C. My heart's racing so hard it feels like a countdown. I fit the key into the lock. It turns too easily. The air inside is still and untouched, faintly scented with lavender and rain. Curtains drawn, faint light slipping through. There's a cup on the table, half full of cold tea. A blanket tossed across the couch. Everything here feels recent, lived in. Not abandoned. I whisper her name, though I already know she won't answer. Lena? Silence, then a sound, faint from the corner. A drip of water from the faucet. I step further in, shoes brushing against a stack of papers on the floor. My eyes trace the small apartment. A bed neatly made, a shelf of books, a few clothes folded on a chair. It's her style, minimal, careful, except there's a photo on the fridge. Her, smiling, with someone else, a man I don't recognize. Something inside me freezes. He's standing behind her, his arm around her waist, both of them grinning like they've shared years together. My hand trembles as I reach for the photo, feeling the ridges of tape where she pinned it up. There's no caption, no date, just their faces. For a moment, I can't breathe. I sink down into the couch, staring at that image. The man has dark hair, older than me maybe, sharp eyes that seem to know something. My stomach twists. Was this her secret, a lover? Then I notice the details, and small but wrong. Her eyes in that photo. They look tired. Not happy. Not like the Lena I know. There's something forced about her smile, almost like fear. I start looking closer. Drawers, cabinets, a desk in the corner. Receipts, notes, scraps of handwriting. Some pages are lists, groceries, rent payments. Others are names. And then, a letter, folded, unfinished. If anything happens to me, don't believe what they tell you. Please don't. It cuts off there, ink smudged like her hand slipped mid-sentence. I don't realize I'm shaking until I drop the paper. My mind races. Someone was here with her, someone she didn't trust. Maybe that's why she ran. Maybe that's why she didn't want me to look. But she should have known better. I can't walk away from her shadow. I move toward the bedroom. The bed's covered with a thin white sheet, perfectly made except for one thing, her ring. Our wedding ring, sitting on the pillow, glinting softly in the gray light. My chest aches. I remember sliding it on her finger 6 years ago, under the soft gold of the sunset. Her promise had been simple. As long as you find me, I'll never leave. The words echo now, bitter and cruel. I pick up the ring, press it against my palm until it hurts. That's when I hear something. A faint creak like a door settling. I freeze, then footsteps. Not mine. Lena? I whisper again, barely a sound. No answer. The sound comes from the hallway and slow, deliberate. I grab the nearest thing, a lamp, and wait. The door opens just slightly, letting in a slice of yellow light from the hall. A shadow falls across the floor. Who's there? My voice cracks hoarse, then a man steps in. Not the one from the photo. This one's in his 40s, wearing a black jacket, face rough, unshaven. His eyes flick to me, to the photo still on the table, and then back. Calm. Too calm. You shouldn't be here, he says. Who are you? My grip tightens on the lamp. He glances at the ring in my hand. Her husband, he murmurs. Of course, that hits like a punch. Where is she? He doesn't answer right away. Just studies me like he's weighing something. You really don't know? Know what? He sighs, rubbing the bridge of his nose. She's in trouble. Big trouble. And if you care about her, you'll walk away. The words hang between us, heavy and cold. I step forward. I'm not walking away from my wife. He gives a small, pitying smile. Then you're already too late. Before I can react, he's gone, slips out the door down the hall. By the time I reach the window, the street below is empty again, just the river moving slow under the dawn light. I stand there, holding her ring, heart pounding in my chest. Every instinct screams to call the police. But then I look back at the note, the hidden letters, the fear in her handwriting. Don't believe what they tell you, no. This isn't over. Whatever she's caught in, whoever that man was, and I'm going to find her, even if it means following her into the dark. The river won't leave me alone. It whispers under the bridge as I drive, the gray morning light breaking over the water like shattered glass. I can't get her voice out of my head. If you love me, don't look for me. But I'm already too deep. I follow the only lead I have, the name scrawled in the corner of one of her old receipts. Mara, a florist on 5th Street. It's written in Lena's handwriting, soft, curved, careful. I remember her once saying, "If I ever disappear, find the flowers." I'd laughed then. She hadn't. The shop is quiet when I step inside. Bells chime softly overhead, the air filled with the wet, earthy scent of roses and soil. Smells like her hair after rain. For a second, I close my eyes just to breathe it in. And when I open them, a woman stands behind the counter watching me. She's about Lena's height. Blonde hair pulled back, kind eyes that seem to hide too much. "Can I help you?" she asks. I pull out my phone and show her the photo from the apartment. Lena and the man smiling. "Do you know her?" Her expression changes, just slightly. Enough to tell me she does. "You shouldn't be showing that around," she says quietly. "Please." My voice cracks. "I just want to find her." Something softens in her eyes. She looks at me for a long time before she says, "You must be Noah." I blink. "She told you about me?" She nods. "A lot." Her words hit like a heartbeat I didn't know I'd lost. I feel the ground tilt beneath me. "Where is she, Mara?" She hesitates, fingers brushing a single white lily on the counter. "You need to sit down." I do. She pours tea into chipped mugs, hands trembling just enough for me to notice. I can tell this isn't the first time she's told a secret that hurt to say. "She came here often," she begins. "Bought flowers every week. Always white roses. Said they reminded her of peace. But one day she came in shaking. Said she needed to rent a place. Said she couldn't trust anyone, and not even you." The words land heavy. "Why not me?" "She said you'd try to save her, and that would get you killed." My stomach turns cold. "Killed by who?" Mara's eyes flick toward the window like she expects someone to be standing there. "The man in the photo. His name's Daniel Holt. He runs things. Not the kind you call the police about. Lena worked with him before she met you. He found her again last year." My pulse hammers. "You're saying she was hiding from him?" "She was trying to make something right," Mara whispers. "She stole something from him. A drive, I think. Said it was proof. Proof of what he did. But when she realized he knew where you lived, she disappeared to keep you safe." The room feels too small. My throat tightens, the words clawing their way out. "You're telling me she left because she was protecting me?" Mara nods. "She loved you, Noah, more than you can imagine." I drop my head into my hands. The ache in my chest spreads through my ribs like fire. All the anger, the confusion, the betrayal. It folds in on itself, replaced by something worse, guilt. All this time I thought she'd been unfaithful, but she'd been bleeding in silence, alone. "I should have seen it," I whisper. "She didn't want you to," Mara says softly. "She wanted you to keep believing she was okay." I stare at the tea cooling between us. "Then why the note? Why ask me not to look for her?" Mara hesitates again. Her voice drops. "Because she said if you found her, he'd find you too." The world goes still for a moment. Outside, the wind rattles the glass. Inside, the smell of lilies and loss thickens the air. I can almost hear Lena's laugh, the one that used to curl up at the edges like sunlight in the morning. I'd give anything to hear it again. Mara touches my arm, a small human gesture. "You still love her, don't you?" I look up. "She's my wife." The words feel both fragile and unbreakable. Mara holds my gaze, her eyes glistening. "Then there's something you need to know." She stands, crosses to a cabinet, and pulls out a small envelope. "She left this for you. Said if you ever came here, I should give it to you." My heart trips over itself as I take it. Inside, a photo. Lena again, sitting by a window, sunlight on her face, wearing the same necklace I gave her on our anniversary. On the back, in her handwriting, "If you find me, don't be afraid of what I've become." I trace the ink with my thumb. Her letters are unsteady, rushed. Beneath the photo, a second slip of paper and an address. An abandoned lighthouse on the edge of the coast 2 hours north. I look up. "When did she leave this?" "A week ago," Mara says quietly. "She was scared. Said she didn't have much time." The clock ticks louder now. The air feels charged, electric. I rise slowly, the photo clutched in my hand. "Thank you." Mara catches my wrist before I turn. "Noah, if you go after her, there's no coming back to the life you had." I meet her eyes. That life ended the night she disappeared. She nods almost sadly and lets go. Outside, the sky's beginning to bruise into evening. I stand for a moment on the curb, the photo burning warm against my palm. The world keeps moving, cars passing, strangers laughing. But mine has narrowed to one point on the map, the lighthouse. The wind picks up, carrying the scent of the river, faint, familiar, almost like her perfume. I close my eyes and let it wash over me. If she ran to protect me, I'll find her to protect her back, no matter what she's become. The road to the coast is a ribbon of fog and silence. Every mile feels heavier, like I'm driving into another world. The sky's pale, washed-out gray. The sea beyond the cliffs is restless, its rhythm deep and endless. Somewhere out there, she's waiting, or hiding, or running still. The lighthouse appears through the mist, a tall silhouette against the bruised horizon. It looks abandoned. Cracked paint, shattered windows, the door hanging crooked on rusted hinges. But there's light, a faint glow inside, flickering, alive. I kill the engine and step out. The air bites cold and salty, and the sound of the waves hammers against the rocks below. My boots crunch over gravel as I approach, hand slipping into my jacket pocket where her ring still rests. My fingers close around it like a promise. Inside, it smells of old salt and damp stone. The air hums faintly and my breath fogs as I call her name. Lena? The sound echoes up the spiral staircase. Then wide footsteps, soft, careful, hesitant. I turn toward the shadow that moves down the stairs, and for a second my heart forgets how to beat. She's there. Lena. Her hair's longer, darker. She's thinner, her eyes shadowed with exhaustion, but they're still hers and still the eyes I fell in love with. She stops halfway down, gripping the railing, her chest rising and falling like she's been holding her breath for months. Noah, she whispers. Everything in me fractures and reforms at once. I want to run to her, to touch her, to tell her none of it matters. But something in her face warns me. Fear, raw and trembling. She looks like a woman caught between flight and surrender. I told you not to look for me, she says, voice breaking on the edges. I know. My voice comes out rough, but you knew I would. For a moment, neither of us move. The only sound is the sea roaring against the cliffs. Then she steps closer, one careful step at a time. Her hand brushes the wall for balance. You shouldn't have come, she says. They'll find you. Then let them, I whisper. Just tell me why. Tell me what you've been running from. Her lips tremble. It's not just me anymore, I frown. What do you mean? She looks down, clutching the edge of her jacket, and I realize she's shaking. Daniel, he's not who you think he is. He's not just some criminal. He works for people who make others disappear. I had evidence, files, things that could end them. But he found out. He came after me, I thought. If I left, if I disappeared, they'd leave you alone. I stepped closer, my heart pounding. You think I'd rather be alive without you than dead beside you? She flinches, tears glinting in her eyes. Don't say that. Then don't lie to me. She takes another step forward until we're barely a breath apart. Her scent, lavender and rain, the one that's haunted me for days, wraps around me. I never lied about loving you, she whispers. The words hit like lightning. I reach up, brushing a strand of hair from her face. My fingers tremble. Her skin is cold, soft, real. She closes her eyes, leaning into the touch, just slightly, before pulling back. You shouldn't touch me, she says. Barely a breath. Too late. Her eyes meet mine, and everything between us and the pain, the years, the silence, bursts. I step closer. She doesn't move away. The air between us feels electric, fragile. When my hand finds her waist, she exhales, a sound halfway between a sigh and a sob. God, Noah, she whispers. You shouldn't have come. Tell me you don't want me here, I say softly. Say it and I'll go. Her silence is the answer. For a moment, we're lost. Standing in that ruined lighthouse, the world outside crashing in waves. Her forehead touches mine. Her fingers curl into my shirt, and I can feel her shaking. I don't know if it's fear or longing or both. I thought I could protect you, she says against my skin. But they're watching. They always are. If they see you here, then we run, I say. She pulls back, eyes wide. You don't understand. There's no running from them. Then we fight. A bitter laugh escapes her lips, soft and broken. You still think love fixes everything? No, I whisper. But it gives me a reason to try. She stares at me like she's seeing me for the first time, or maybe remembering. Then something shifts in her expression. A quiet, desperate decision. She reaches into her coat and pulls out a small black flash drive. This is what they want, she says. Everything they've done, proof. I was supposed to give it to someone tonight. I thought, maybe if they had it, they'd let me go. Then let's finish it together. Before she can answer, a sound cuts through the air, a crunch of gravel outside. Tires, voices. My pulse spikes. Her eyes widen. They found us. She grabs my hand, fingers tight around mine, and for the first time since she vanished, it feels like we're one heartbeat again. She pulls me toward the back of the lighthouse, where a narrow staircase spirals down toward the cliffs. We move fast, our footsteps echoing, the air cold and sharp. Behind us, the front door slams open, men shouting, boots on stone. She glances over her shoulder, panic flashing across her face. Noah, if they catch us, they won't. We reach the bottom, a metal door leading to a narrow ledge overlooking the roaring sea. Wind whips through her hair as I push it open. She turns to me, eyes wild, breath trembling. I'm sorry, she whispers. For what? She presses the flash drive into my palm. For bringing you into this. For loving you when I shouldn't have. Then, before I can stop her, she steps back and then the door slams shut between us, locked from the other side. Lena. I pound against the metal, shouting her name. Voices echo above, closer now. I can hear her footsteps fading, her voice one last whisper through the crack of the door. Find me, Noah. One last time. The sound of waves swallows everything else. The ocean is merciless that night. Waves crash against the cliffs with the sound of collapsing walls, salt stinging my face as I run along the edge of the lighthouse. My lungs burn, my heart a fist of fire. The flash drive digs into my palm like a blade. Lena's last act. Her final message. I can still hear her voice echoing through the storm. Find me. Noah. One last time. The men's shouts fade behind me, swallowed by the wind. I stumble down a narrow path leading to the beach, slick with rain and sea spray. The beam of a flashlight cuts through the dark somewhere above. Searching. I keep moving, driven by nothing but instinct and love that refuses to die. When I reach the shore, the tide is rising, furious. And there, near the edge of the rocks, I see her, Lena, standing half in the surf, her coat whipping around her, hair soaked to her skin. She turns when she hears me, and for a heartbeat, time collapses. She looks like a ghost. Noah, she shouts, voice breaking against the wind. I wade through the freezing water, my clothes dragging heavy, the flash drive still clutched tight. Open the door, Lena. We can still make it. She shakes her head, eyes wide. You don't understand, they're here. They'll kill you. Then we die together. Her expression twists in pain. Don't say that. I reach her, grab her shoulders, and she finally lets me hold her. She's trembling, from the cold, from fear, from everything. I press my forehead to hers, and for a second, all I feel is the warmth of her breath, the softness of her skin, the way her heart still beats in sync with mine. I'm not leaving you again, I whisper. She closes her eyes, tears mixing with rain. You already have what they want. I look at the flash drive. Then we end it, together. Lightning tears across the sky, illuminating her face, fierce, fragile, desperate. There's a contact, she says quickly. Someone who can expose everything. He's waiting at the docks in Blackport. If you get this to him, they'll have nowhere left to hide. What about you? Her lips tremble. They'll never stop if I'm alive. I grab her chin gently, force her to look at me. No, we fight. Both of us. She opens her mouth to argue. But the crack of a gunshot splits the air. The sound echoes through the cliffs, followed by another. I spin, pulling her behind me. Shadows move on the ridge. Dark figures with flashlights and guns. The wind howls, waves crashing harder. Lena grips my sleeve. Go, Noah! I'm not leaving you. Her eyes blaze. A flash of the woman who once laughed under Lisbon's sun. Please, for me. Another shot. A bullet kicks up sand inches from her feet. She shoves me hard toward the rocks. Run! And then she turns, running the other way into the surf, drawing their attention. My throat tears with her name. Lena, but she doesn't stop. The tide swallows her steps, the night swallowing her silhouette. The men chase after her, shouts lost in the storm. I dive behind a boulder, clutching the flash drive to my chest, every muscle screaming not to go after her, and every beat of my heart begging me to. Then, silence. The gunfire stops. The waves keep crashing, and she's gone, days blur after that. I move like a ghost through motel rooms and border towns, using fake names, following the directions she'd left hidden in her messages. I don't sleep much. Every time I close my eyes, I see her. That final moment, her face lit by lightning, fearless and broken. When I finally reach Blackport, the dawn is pale and cold. The docks are empty except for a man in a gray coat standing by the end of the pier. He looks up when he hears my footsteps. "You're late," he says simply. I hand him the flash drive. This is what she died for. He studies me for a moment, then takes it, slipping it into his pocket. She didn't die for nothing. I want to believe him. But the words feel hollow. The sea behind us rolls endlessly, indifferent to what it's taken. He leaves without another word, and I stand there long after he's gone, staring at the horizon. When I finally look down, something catches the light. A small silver pendant tangled in seaweed at the edge of the pier. Her necklace, the one I'd given her on our first anniversary. I kneel, lift it gently from the water. The chain is broken, but the charm still gleams faintly. A tiny compass pointing north. It feels like a message, like she's still leading me somewhere. Months pass. The story breaks across every network. Leaked documents, arrests, a dozen high-profile names exposed. Corruption, trafficking, disappearances. Everything she'd said was true. The drive burned the empire she'd run from. Her name, though, is never mentioned. Sometimes I think that's how she wanted it. I move out of the city, buy a small house near the coast. The sea's quieter here, but I can still hear her in it. The rhythm of her voice, the way she used to hum while making coffee, the whisper of "find me" in every breaking wave. At night, I leave the window open. The air smells like rain and salt, and I imagine her somewhere out there walking a beach in another country, free at last. I don't know if she's alive, but I know she's not gone. Love doesn't end when the body disappears. It lingers, in scent, in sound, in the ghost of a touch. One evening I walk down to the shoreline as the sun dips low. A bottle washes up near my feet, clear glass glinting in the fading light. Inside, a slip of paper. My hands tremble as I pull it free. The handwriting is hers. "You found me once. You'll do it again." No signature, no return address. Just those words, and the faint scent of lavender clinging to the paper. I smile. The first real smile in months. The wind lifts, the sea whispering her name like a promise. Maybe love never ends. Maybe it just changes shape. And maybe, just maybe, she's still out there waiting for me to find her one last time.